Well, welcome here this morning and happy Thanksgiving. We want to welcome our honored guests. We have Mayor Kate Gallego with us, Council members Ann O'Brien, Yasmin Ansari, we welcome them, our city manager, and then a local historian who you'll get a chance to meet here in just a second. 100 years ago today, the council adopted by ordinance its first city flag that you see behind us. As we recognize this milestone with the flag temporarily on display, we want to share the story of how this came to be and recognize the local historian who helped this come to pass. We're going to hear first from Mayor Kate Gallego. She'll be followed by our new city manager, Jeff Barton. And then finally, you'll hear from local historian Steve Schumacher. Mayor Gallego.
Today we gather to celebrate the 100th anniversary of our first Phoenix flag. 100 years ago, Phoenix Mayor Willis Plunkett oversaw the adoption of the city's first flag, and we are excited to share it today with a new generation of Phoenicians. As is so often true in our city's history, our residents really helped us develop this flag. This flag was chosen from hundreds of submissions. It was adopted and produced for $175. I'd say we got a good deal. The public really responded to the beauty of the flag and how it really represented our city's unique history. One issue at the time was that City Hall was overcrowded, and so the flag was put in the city's vault. It then came out in 1929 when we had a new municipal building and was flown in the new council chambers. Just like the Phoenix Rising, our flag is on display again, reminding us of the history of our great city. It's a time to celebrate the accomplishments of the city of Phoenix. Our history helps us build and move towards our future. Soon, the flag will undergo conservation efforts to preserve it for the next 100 years. We are so thankful to all who have produced the flag and who have stood for its history. I want to thank Steve and our local community of historians who have stood up and said we must celebrate this beautiful flag and the remarkable history of a flag produced by our community for our community. So thank you to all those who have worked to study and preserve the history. Also want to thank our city clerk and the city manager's office for moving forward and supporting this great treasure. Next to the podium is a great steward of Phoenix history, our city manager, Jeff Barton.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, staff, for recognizing and organizing this commemorative event, and good morning to everyone. And as the Mayor said, happy Thanksgiving. I'm thrilled to be here today. I am an avid historian, as many of you know, to celebrate the adoption of Phoenix's first official flag from 100 years ago. The city clerk's office, as many of you know, is entrusted with the responsibility of preserving the city's records, including this very flag that we fly behind us today. This important piece of history, as the Mayor mentioned, was created in partnership with Phoenix residents. This is a symbol of our ongoing commitment to serve and to make our community stronger and better each and every day. We're happy to celebrate the flag's 100-year anniversary as we reflect on our rich history and this incredible progress that we've made over the last couple of years. The City Clerk's office will continue to care for this flag and ensure that it's safekeeping and preserved for many, many years to come. Now, I have the pleasure of introducing one of the people responsible for making this day possible, Mr. Steve Schumacher. Mr. Steve Schumacher, he's a local historian who realized several months ago that this flag was in our possession. And so I'd like to invite Mr. Schumacher to the table now.
Thank you, City Manager Barton. Thank you, Mayor Gallego. Thank you, City Council members, for attending. Thank you for everyone showing up as well. I was asked just to speak for a couple minutes about how I came across the flag in the first place and why I was even looking around for the flag. So just to put it in context, as a Phoenix City historian, one of the things that I personally do is I look for what I call firsts within the valley. And those are things that were the very first time something happened, the first brick building, the first ditch that was dug, the first shovel full of dirt that was dug for the first canal, the first church in the valley, and various things like that. I'd like to find out what was there before, and then once that first happened, what was there after. And one of the things I was searching for when I came across this information about the flag is I had discovered that palm trees were not native to the valley. And I thought, my goodness, if there's something that is just ubiquitous to our valley in Phoenix and we take for granted, it's palm trees. So I thought, my goodness, if that is in fact the case, that the valley didn't have palm trees all the way back into antiquity, there must have been a first one. So I was researching that, and I thought there had to be a first palm tree, and believe it or not, I found out, and it was about 2 blocks away from here. And it was such a big deal that people that would come through Phoenix, which weren't that many in 1879, they would stop and take photographs of that palm tree. And if anybody's interested, you can go stand at 234 West Monroe, and that's where the first palm tree was. Now, in the process of looking for information about that, I came across these articles in the 1929 and the 1921 Arizona Republican, it was called at the time, that talked about the flag. And me being the guy that I am, I thought, gee, I wonder where that first flag is today. So I started researching it, and thankfully Denise and Jennifer in the city clerk's office were incredibly helpful and hospitable and gracious to put up with me and my phone calls and my emails and so forth. And I asked, can I come see that in person, because I'd really like to view this first city flag. I'd like to experience it. And thankfully, Mayor Gallego was willing to come over and experience it along with me, and a couple of my friends, Rob Malikian, were there as well. So that's what I'm all about and how I came across the flag. And since that time, thankfully, Mayor Gallego has taken an active interest in it and the preservation of it, as well as Denise in the city clerk's office and so forth. So we look forward to the civic memory that our flag presents us and these articles present us, continuing so that we can all tell our grandchildren, when they look up at that flag, we have a little bit of a story to tell. So thank you, everyone, for attending, and I hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving as well.